first show that I went to, I was in 7th grade, so I was 13.
I first started going to shows in, I think, 1989, 1990.
This whole Catherine Wheel.
Metallica and Faith No More.
Florida. That was the first like big concert, but I've been to smaller shows, probably that same year. So like 13, 14.
And you know, I was into some metal stuff, but I also at that same time had a interest in things that were kind of more underground and less obvious, I guess.
Well, when I was a kid, it was totally different because it was like everybody was dying for some sort of social thing or music or something different than like home life, you know?
I mean, a lot of the people that I encountered, like I said, were involved with it because it gave them a sense of belonging. It was like a family or a community that they didn't have elsewhere.
I don't give a fuck. You know? I don't give a fuck what you want or what you see. I'm rolling how I'm gonna roll.
There was no internet, and so to book a tour, you had to get phone numbers, and you would go to a payphone, and you would, like, there was no cell phones, there's no internet, so you had to literally, like, create this network of connections of people that you would then call and leave messages on their answering machine, and then they would call you back, and you had to be there. It was a whole different way to set things up, but the result of that was that things were a little bit more tight-knit.
Before it was like a really close-knit network of people across the country with letters and zines and records and mail order catalogs, stuff like that. So now it's a much more widespread thing. It's also been like marketed, like sort of capitalized on. You have things like Warped Tour, whatever. It's become a moneymaker, whereas before punk was never a moneymaker.
Because you had to have like a certain level of conviction to say, yes, we're gonna be there on, 2 months from now, we're gonna drive a van from Oakland, California, stop along these places, and on the 15th of November we're going to be in Baltimore, Maryland, and we want to play in your basement. That was all coordinated through this like network of real world connections.
Pull out the trailer, pull out the van, load all the equipment in the trailer, get in the van, and here we are in beautiful Tijuana. What he does is he calls the promoter and he says, "How'd you like to book this band?" The promoter says, "Fine, we love the band." So here we are, we're the Circle Jerks.
They come in with their own van that they drove across country themselves, back it up, unload their gear by themselves, put it up on the stage, and then play. And I remember I saw them at Gilman in like, 91. I was dating Tracy, so I was older than 20. And they were fucking loud. I was like 18. I just got kicked out of my parents' house, totally on my own. I was living in somebody's pantry. I remember moving in that day with like a fucking, like I had like a blanket and nothing, like totally just what I could carry on my bag. And I walk in the hallway and it was at a friend's house, Justin Drummond. And he came in and gave me this CD. It was Fugazi's 13 songs. And he's like, "You're gonna need this." I swear to God, that fucking album is how I made it to 24.
But I think it's also sort of done a couple awesome things, like infiltrate regular society in the ideals way, where young kids are growing up thinking that it's cool to make their own decisions, instead of young kids growing up thinking that they have to follow a certain code. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the generations of punks having kids and having these open-minded children, and like the evolution of young people with the influence of the people that were in the first wave